We have found out that the SAP ecosystem is the oldest ecosystem of consulting staff on the planet. We're losing the mind share and the knowledge that they have, and people are not joining our ecosystem. So we built AI tools. So we're all about what's going on in the world today, and that's AI, but specifically AI wrapped around SAP, cloud computing, Microsoft Azure. We're supporting organizations as they're making this critical move on data center or in a virtual environment, all the way up to the cloud. I'm a technologist at heart. I love technology.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by Write For Me, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here with Chris Carter, who is the CEO and founder of Approyo. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what Approyo does and how you guys are growing your business. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good, Andy. Good to see you again. It's been way too long, to be honest. I'm glad we're able to get together again.
I love it. Let's talk a little bit about what you're doing at Approyo. Tell me about the business. Tell me a little bit about how you help your customers and what you do.
You got it. So we're all about what's going on in the world today, and that's AI, but specifically AI wrapped around SAP, cloud computing, Microsoft Azure. We're supporting organizations as they're making this critical move from the on data center or in a virtual environment, all the way up to the cloud. And these organizations, it is mandatory. You've got 483,000 customers that must move by the end of 2027. And so we're using AI to support them in these activities, wrapping that together to move them to the cloud, and then supporting them when they get up to the cloud with their new SAP S4 business suite, as SAP likes to call it.
All right. So that's a mouthful.
Let's unwrap that.
Let's unpack it. Yeah, exactly. So what's a standard scenario for a client, right? So they got to move up to the cloud. So obviously they're not in the cloud yet.
Correct.
What's the current state? Like somebody comes to you and they're like, okay, I need to do this. How do what's a profile for them?
Yes, perfect question, because there is no perfect profile for a customer. Of the 483,000, they run every industry known to man. So the first thing we have to do is we have to understand what their current landscape, their current environment. So we've got an AI-based tool called Overwatch that goes in and kind of sniffs it out, checks out, sees what they've got. Back in the day when it was on a bare metal computer or a virtualized computer, they could do a lot of things called Zeta codes, and they would make updates and modifications to their specifications so they could have an application that fit what they did. Well, what SAP has said is you must fit into what we build for you. So first we do all that. Then we validate their licenses. Then we validate what system they're going to go to. Are they going to go to Azure? Are they going to go to AWS? Or are they going to go to the customer data center, the CDC? And from that point, we then validate that infrastructure, still using AI-based tools. We build that infrastructure using AI-based tools to make sure that it is the right bill of material for them. We then take all of their code and we run it through our AI-based tools to make sure that what can move and what cannot move, how we have to modify things. And typically it's about 75% of their code can move up. And then we have to do a second phase. And that second phase is really important because SAP does not allow any third-party tools in their cloud, because you're taking the core of SAP and the core of your business, your AR, your AP, your financials, your HR, that's going up into SAP's Business Suite Cloud. The rest of it, so if you've got tax software, if you've got barcode software, if you've got any kind of distribution, warehouse management that is not SAP's, and then even their three-letter acronyms, EWM, Enterprise Warehouse Management, or IBP or GRC, Global Risk and Compliance, those also have to go into a secondary cloud, we'll call it. And so we have to make sure that those are all set up properly. We got to make sure that they're transitioned properly. We have to make sure that they're valid for each system. And so we have a lot we have to do with one AI-based tool that allows us to take care of and do that responsibility. And then we get to manage, run, and support all of that afterwards. Luck be out, which is exactly what we do. Our monthly capabilities to be able to maintain that. So individuals and customers, no matter the CIO, all the way down to the basis administrator, can sleep well at night. That's my goal. I pull out my hair so they can sleep well at night and they don't have to worry about it.
Right. Well, it sounds like
Out there.
Tell me a little bit about your customer base. Like how many customers do you have? What do you guys, like tell me about the growth of the business.
Yes, we've been very fortunate. We run the gamut. We've got multi-billion-dollar organizations, $5-10 billion in banking organizations in Europe, in North America. We've got oil and gas companies. We've got manufacturing, CPG organizations. We run the gamut based upon size. Our sweet spot tends to be from $2 billion in revenue down to about $500 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll manage anything from that. We've got a $7 billion banking entity in Europe, all the way down to a $20 million oil and gas company here in the United States. So we're very fortunate because we do the technical side of these organizations. That is very consistent, and we've built the capabilities and the deployment mechanism from an AI-based standpoint to support those organizations. From a functional side, we bring in partners, but those organizations, we give them the full, I like to say we give them the full Monty. We give them the on-site to the cloud, from the cloud to wherever they are in the world to make sure that they're taken care of.
That's so great. And then who in the organization are your customers? Who's the buyer? Who are the people that you're talking to? Tell me a little bit about the purchasing process and the sales process of it.
Typically it ends up being the CFO, to be really honest with you. The CFO wants to know what it's going to cost me upfront. So we're one of the very few organizations that can tell them, this is what your landscape is going to cost you before they even move to S4 on the cloud and have that secondary SAP club. Another individual we talk to a lot is the director of SAP or the CIO, who is intimately involved with that. We do have to sell to the database administrators, the SAP directors, the vice presidents of infrastructure and support. Because once you make this changed with the SAP S4 Business Suite, it is a business platform change. You are no longer hosting on bare metal inside your facility or data center. So now you're no longer using the data center folks. Those folks can get retransitioned into a new learning curve for the organization.
Yeah.
You then have database administrators. You're not doing the database work anymore. SAP is now doing that. You no longer have to use them, so they can move and transition into different parts of the organization. So it gives you some free hands, but what it also does is it frees you up. We have found out that of the SAP ecosystem is the oldest ecosystem of consulting staff on the planet.
Wow.
Typically, there are 57% of all SAP staff members are 40 plus years of age.
Wow.
That's pretty, when you've only got the 20 and 30-year-olds only make up 13% of the ecosystem. It's old. It's a gray beard. And I just wrote about this actually, and it's posted on not only my LinkedIn page, but also in CIO magazine, where with us being the oldest consultative group, and when I say consultative, I also mean the individuals who work at companies and have been there for 20 years, 30 years maybe, to individuals who are out running around and helping companies on a day-to-day consultative basis. 57% of them are that old. We're losing the mind share and the knowledge that they have, and people are not joining our ecosystem. So we built AI tools. Others are building AI tools. SAP is building those AI tools, and it really evens the score across it. People can go away, but the tools are there to backfill and to fill in those organizations to make them more productive and more cost efficient.
And on that note, are you building knowledge bases, and this is part of the scope of what you do when you engage with a client?
We do. When we're moving them to the S4 Business Suite, we want that knowledge. So every piece of data that we can possibly collect from a training and organizational change management, we collect all that because that is great knowledge to be able to use with what was compared to what is going to be. Because again, this is a complete business transformation. And as part of that business transformation, you have old processes that need to be moved into the new processes. Perfect example, Andy, is one piece of accounts payable used to take 14 steps in the old system. It now takes 2 in the new system because now you're using things called tiles, which are the Fiori tiles. It's a web-based browser, and we're not a web-based Zoom here. And literally all you do is click that one, you see your approval status, and you can send it off to be approved, and it goes off into its transition. So instead of a 14.2, it's a lot of automation and business transformation that has just been cleaned right up there. SAP did a good job at that.
That sounds really like, I love that stuff because it's right up my alley with automation and how you use AI and get leverage out of that. Talk to me a little bit about, some of the economics of this in terms of, where a company might be with an on-premise or data center kind of installation. So now going to the cloud, and what are some of the other benefits? I mean, imagine there's both cost benefits and then also feature benefits and gains that you get. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, so I took on my glasses for this one. It can get pretty deep pretty quick, or it can be pretty beneficial. You get the benefit of not having to do as many steps and take on the responsibilities and so on and so forth. But what you do have is you now have a migration cost, you have a license cost, you have an AI license cost. Those things do add up. Companies need to understand that. There's also a consumption cost. If you're using the tool BTP, there's a consumption method between the cloud and your other systems. It could be BW, it could be GRC, whatever the case may be. So there are costs that companies need to look at. Companies used to take bare metal or virtualized environments, and they used to be able to take that cost over a set period of years based upon accounting standards and practices. Now, everything is consumed on a monthly charge. So there's always that monthly charge that's involved there. And they have to realize that that's a monthly charge rather than a yearly charge or a one-time fixed asset charge. And that gets into play a little bit with organizations as well. They have to figure that part of the puzzle out. So you got to do a migration. It's mandatory. It's expensive. There's no other way to say it. You're going to have expenses wrapped around it. You're going to have to do organizational change management. There's a cost involved with that to train your people if they're going to stay there. And we hope that they do. We don't lose them. But at the end of the day, there's also AI tools, and you have to understand the cost of the licensing to deploy that and implement those fees. And then the infrastructure itself and the ongoing support. And it just changes the buckets that it's going to. But there are costs associated with all those. And organizations do need to realize nothing in this world is free. And they've been getting great systems. They've been getting great upgrades. And now this is just the evolution of SAP being on the cloud.
Right. And so a lot of companies are behind the curve with their cloud journey, right? Let's call it, right? How are you engaging with those people? What are the biggest barriers that you see, with these businesses, and then how do they overcome them? What does that journey look like for them?
Yes, there's a lot of companies out there that still haven't made the journey even to move to S4. Literally about 20% of all companies. So there's still 80% of them that we get to work with, or the ecosystem can work with. As part of that, it's knowledge. It's giving them that information about how the transition is going from a financial standpoint, how the transition is going to go from organizational change management, how it's going to go from an end user state, and then what is going to be the direction you've got current to future state. And so we have to educate. There's a lot of knowledge transfer. I'm literally putting out documents every day. My team is putting out. It's all about education. And the more that we can educate these individuals, no matter from the C-suite all the way down to the end user, it's vital that we make sure that they understand the importance of the changes as well as that they're willing to take on the responsibility of that change, or they're going to fall flat on their face. And we don't want that either, because that's going to be disruption. We don't like disruption. Companies do not like disruptions. And it's all about the people, the performance, and the processes. If you can get those 3 Ps level set, you don't want them to spike. You don't want any one of the 3 to spike back and forth. But if you can get those 3 Ps to be a consistent grade across, you're going to be fantastic.
Yeah, love that. And so, as we're talking about, education and, what the role is of, say, like AI and automation in the SAP cloud transformation environment, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, AI is this kind of broad-based term that people just kind of throw around, but when you get into it, it's all very narrowly focused. It's all specific. What are some of the key areas that you guys employ to use AI on behalf of a client that helps them accelerate their go-to-market here?
Certainly. So we use really 2 tools, and we do use some other, but they're not necessarily as AI based. One is Joule. It is built into SAP. It is their AI algorithms and their bots and their automation processes. You can literally create an entire bill of materials. You can actually go through other processes. There's over 400 different automation sets that are inside the SAP portal that we, as a territory-led partner, can utilize. And that's great, and it's important. We need those. But on top of that, you got to have a little bit more. You got to be able to understand the infrastructure. You got to be able to understand the licenses. You got to be able to utilize who's going to be doing this, how it's going to be doing, what is the data? Have you cleansed your data? So we use a tool called Overwatch. And Overwatch is a tool that we built from the ground up, started about 8.5 years ago. And we started that process and that journey. And we started it with predictive analytics of the current environments, moved it into the S4 environments. It manages, monitors, and runs, and then we'll deploy AI-based infrastructure in Azure or others as we so need fit. And the 2 tools together work seamlessly. And then we've got FlowGen and another tool that validates all from an AI perspective, all of their Z code, what it's going to take, how it's going to take. And we integrate that with those 3 pieces, and boom, we've got the ability compared to other organizations to be able to rapidly deploy infrastructure and mechanisms to allow these organizations to move their SAP environments in a much faster, cleaner, more cost-efficient manner and environment.
Great. And what is the timeline on a program like that? What is, when somebody's getting into the planning phase of this, what does that migration look like from a time frame perspective?
Anywhere between 8 to 24 months. You can't push this as fast as companies want. We've got companies that have said, oh, we're going to do this in 2 months. And I just looked at them and said, you know what? I wish you luck. We'll come back when you need us, if you need us, but I wish you luck.
Yeah.
Literally 6 months later, they hadn't even started. They didn't even know the process. They came back to us. Hey, we were wrong. I said, okay, well, we told you to, and we'll leave it at that. Everybody understood with it. Let's start over and really move this plan forward. So typically it takes anywhere between 8 and 24 months, depending upon the size of the infrastructure, the database, and the quality of the people that are going to be a part of this program. Because the people at the company that we service, they must have the capabilities to do the testing. It's a mandatory testing capabilities. You need to know your infrastructure. You need to know your data. You need to know what's going on. And on top of that, I'm going to tell you right now, Andy, 90% of these companies have such bad data or bad databases that if they don't cleanse their data and do a data cleansing exercise first, they're never going to go. I just finished with a customer that literally they had 17 terabytes of EDI data, and nobody knew anything, what they needed it for, why they were using it, how they were using it. It just was sitting there. So we had to throw it into a blob storage. Now they got 17 terabytes in a blob storage that they still don't know what they're going to do with.
Wow.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's the biggest problem right there is everybody's data.
Well, that's so interesting. I mean, there are so many, so much confusion about what data actually businesses have.
Yes.
there's this exercise sounds like partially what it does is it shines the light on, assets that businesses have that are maybe underutilized and could either be turned into new value that they can bring to clients or new insights that they can get that they hadn't, that maybe the CEO just discovered. Oh, that exists.
The first thing that it does is it gets them to think differently, because it makes them think, hey, AI, I'm told I can do anything with it. No, 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 no. You don't want everybody else's data. You want Chris Carter company data. You don't want Andy's and Chris's data intermingling to the other, because then all of a sudden it's going to tell you false truths.
Right.
It's going to see something from you and something from me, and it will make the decision on what is the right data to make a decision.
Right.
You don't want that. So you want to have one record of truth. And that's the beauty about SAP. Everything goes into one central database that is locked down. You cannot get to it from Google and everybody else. So it's your data, your client activities, and what you're doing. From that point, then you can make decisions all across the board for your customers, for your staff, for your company inside that bubble. And once you're in that bubble, that's a great place to be, because then you know that that data is your data and it's clean, pure, pristine data. Once you start moving it in and out freely, that's when you start having problems with it. And that's where, unfortunately, companies don't realize that. They think, oh, ChatGPT, and oh, I can do a Chat Hub, and I can do Perplexity, and I can do GenSpark, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. Inside your database. One database. That's all there is.
So what are some of the eye-opening experiences that you've had when people, tap into this new, it's like the light bulb goes on in the room. It was dark before and now it's illuminated. What are some, eye-popping kind of insights that you've seen in this whole journey of yours here?
It's kind of funny. I just noticed my forehead's got a light bulb sitting on top. So a lot of things that has happened. Geez, nice haircut, Chris. Well, the funniest thing is, I had a customer that I was talking with their CEO, and he was just thinking about data and, well, I don't really know what's going on and this and that. And I said, well, would you like to get a dashboard put in your desk that you can click that button and you can see what's going on with your company? Do you want to see your finances? Do you want to see your warehouse? Do you want to see your shipping and receiving? It's like, why do I need that? He goes, well, you're the CEO. Wouldn't you like to know what's going on rather than, well, the report? Yeah, but that report's not real time. You click that button, this web page pops up, and it will show you a dashboard of everything you would like to see. What do you want to see? Yeah. Well, I'd like to see how our inventories are doing compared to our payables. Are we getting paid within 30 days or is it 60 days? I want to know a report like that. So I actually had one of my consultants was there. I said, put up a dashboard and just go through, connect his accounts receivables right now, and also check his warehouse distribution and see if everything's being shipped on time. So 2 boxes came up. This one showed 30, 60, 90 days on his payables, and this one was showing every hour that trucks were leaving their warehouse.
Wow.
And he just went crazy. Now he's probably got 10 or 15 tiles in there, probably more than he needs. But he looks at that. He literally comes in every morning, takes a look and to see what goes on overnight.
Yeah.
And then before he leaves, and he checks it during the day, and he has these fun little calls, and he'll call up somebody at the warehouse. Hey, what's going with the Schneider truck? How come it hasn't left for Randolph, Wisconsin yet? What's going on with that thing? And somebody's got to explain to the CEO what is going on and why it's going on. And it's stuff like that where you're educating some of these old school executives who are so used to just paper, pen, or just basic reports that come through their desk. Now they can see everything in real time and really get granular and run their business properly and know where everything's going.
It's so rewarding that moment to be able to shine the light on something that's so mission critical, and a lot of businesses just don't have that visibility. Pretty amazing.
Well, Andy, that's why you've got the halo above your head, the light bulb above mine. You're an angel, and it's perfect.
So talk to me a little bit about innovation within Approyo, right? You guys are obviously, bringing innovation to your clients. We're hearing about it here, But tell me a little bit about how you guys, have your own innovation process. And, I imagine there are people in the company that bring ideas. Everybody brings ideas in the company.
Everybody does.
So tell me how you kind of encourage that from a cultural perspective.
Oh, we thrive on that. We want everybody to bring ideas to us any point in time. There is no idea that is a dumb idea. I take the Einstein approach and the Nikola and the Elon Musk approach. I want to hear anything and everything. People come to us from the marketing team. One of my marketing people brought us together many years ago, and we started a process with automations and marketing tools and different pieces. I work with technology companies. We've got a tool that actually every single one of our coders, it is mandatory. They have to run their code through the code gen. And code gen validates their code to make sure that it's actually a working proper code and there's no errors with it. And then we run it through another SAP sandbox to validate it. But everybody's got to do that. And that was brought to us by one of our employees because he was playing with it on his own spare time and coming up with ideas. There is nothing that they cannot bring to me that we will not say, okay, give me some details on it. Show me what it can do, how it can help, and how it can help you and the rest of the team. And if it can't help you, can it help our customers? From our customer service network to our marketing to our sales activities, we use automation across the board, and we will continue to build upon it. As a matter of fact, I just brought up, was playing with a toy earlier, Lovable, that's helping me with some code from a tool that I was looking at modifying. So every day we've got something that's coming up, and it's wonderful because it really brings everybody together. And nobody's fighting each other. Oh, my tool's better than your tool. It's, hey, I've got this piece I've been working on. I think it would work really good inside of Overwatch. Can we test it? Can we play with it? There's the sandbox. Go for it. I want to see what it does because I'm a technologist at heart. I love technology. Show me anything. Give me an opportunity to play with it. As long as I don't have to recode back in, I don't want to be a coder anymore.
Well, you don't have to anymore, right? I mean, that's the beauty of where we are with AI is that, the new computing language is English.
Yes. And that's the great thing. Then now you're competing with English.
Right.
Can you speak English? Well, Andy, it's crazy. I just gave a speech. I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee 3 weeks ago, and I was at the Cityside Summit for Chattanooga's technology team, and I was speaking about the death of the junior developer.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is because I don't need junior people coming in that just code. I need junior people that come in that code, that know the concepts of what it's going to take for this code to take off and to be able to utilize it. They need to project management it themselves. They need to develop it themselves. They can't just be a code kid anymore. We back in the day, we used to call them code monkeys. I was a code monkey. That's all you do all day long. Well, can't have that anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to have that business acumen now. You've got to be able to think from the customer side and from the partner side.
Yeah.
How is that going to leverage? And that's what we hire now. So it's literally those two levels up from.
These are problem solvers. Everybody's kind of, either leveled up their game or they have to level up their game to, like you said, like really understand holistically what's going on in the business to be able to bring value to the client, to the company, to workflows and processes and all.
And I really hope colleges, you can see my buzz over there. I'm a Georgia Tech graduate. So I was down in Atlanta, and I was around the campus because I'm working with a couple of companies that are down there that are part of the Atlanta Venture Network. And my goal to communicate to them every time I talk to them is better yourself now because you don't get the time to play and to do that stuff. You're going to play, but it's going to be at a cost. Get here and learn. Don't just be a code monkey. Start learning. Take project management classes. Start taking business management classes. Start learning those processes now. So when you get out of here, you already have those steps ahead of everybody else that used to or is doing just that.
Such great advice. My daughter's just about to go to college, and I can relate. We talk a lot about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yes.
Chris, what's next for Approyo? Where are you focused on for say 2026, and what's what's on the horizon here for you?
Well, it's the largest upgrade cycle in SAP history. So we are all in on these migrations to S/4 Business Suite. Every day we're talking to somebody new. I personally have written 17 books now. I've got a speaking tour. I've got books. I was just playing with these. I met somebody a couple of hours ago. I've got all these books. I'm sending out. They literally just did autographs inside of them. I'm sending some to Latin America, as a matter of fact. I've got AI translated one of my books into Spanish for me. So I'm doing speaking tours all over. I'm in Clearwater Beach this next week and some other places throughout. So for me, it's educating and knowledge transfer of individuals who run SAP, get them understanding where they need to be and how they need to be. And then my staff is really taking on that position of authority. We've done so many of these now that I really want other organizations and the partner network to come to us for help. I also want those in the SAP ecosystem to understand we have the people, we've done it, we know where the bodies are buried, and we know how to help to make sure that you're not one of those bodies that is buried. And it's a continuous evolution. Microsoft, SAP, Dell computers, Insight, FlowGen, Overwatch, those things are so powerful right now that it is literally get it in there and let's get you migrated in a fast, efficient, cost-effective manner. And that's why I pulled out all my hair.
So hey, you know what? This is so exciting. I think it's such an exciting time, and I love the focus that you have in the market and how you're helping companies, modernize a lot of processes that they currently have, knowing that when they do modernize and they go through the process, that they're going to be so much better off, and the capabilities that they're going to have to be able to expand their businesses.
It's going to hurt up front, but you know what? I'd rather rip off the Band-Aid right away and get you those new business processes, because you are going to do so much better as a business once you start moving forward.
Love it. Love it. Well, so anybody who's listening to this, Chris, how do they get in touch with you? How do they say, hey, I want to work with you?
First thing to do is go out to my LinkedIn page. I pretty much allow anybody to connect with me out there and then talk with me, communicate with me. So I'm Christopher Carter on LinkedIn, Approyo, Approyo. That's also our Twitter handle. You can also find us at that same email address, approyo.com. Look us up, have a conversation, find out knowledge. I've got books. We've got tons of knowledge out there. You might have to give an email address and a name, but take that information and learn. Literally, I just finished doing some proofing with AI on a 22-page SAP migration assessment. And it literally lays out everything for these individuals and organizations. And I want people to have that stuff. It's free. I can't say it enough. It's free, people.
Right, yeah.
Learn from it. Look at it. Understand it. Give it to your staff, because it's going to help educate you on these migrations. So those are the places you can find me. Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. I'm out there as well, but LinkedIn's my home.
Love it. That's so great. And I love the leading with education like that, because what it does is it becomes a galvanizing kind of experience for your clients, because not everybody has the same level of knowledge, but once they start to dig into this kind of information, everybody gets to a certain level. So now they can really get together and
it rises all knowledge.
Yeah.
So you may be here, just as you said, but as soon as you start reading it, all of a sudden everybody's got that same knowledge point, because those 22 pages, but I've got another one that's 20 things you should know and wish you did know about a migration. And then all of a sudden those 20 points come in, you're like, holy cow, I didn't know about that 6 or 18 or 11. So
Right.
all about the knowledge. I'm a full board knowledge repository on our website.
Right there with you, man. This is great. Chris, thank you so much. This has been so interesting, and
Andy, good to talk to you again.
glad to hear from you. Thank you.
Oh, I love talking with you, man.
Likewise.
So happy to see you again.
You too. All right. Thanks so much.